Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on a Saturday. My name is Laura Moderson. I am the Early Outreach Coordinator at UNLV. So I'm excited to talk to you about what we are doing to promote college readiness here in Nevada and ways that we would love for you to get involved or share any ideas that you have. Just want to make sure everyone saw Kat's message in the chat. Please do introduce yourself in the chat. And if you are getting PD hours for attending today, please put your full name in your school so they can track those hours. So if you want to put into the chat who you are, what brings you here today, so that we can get to know each other a little bit. Perfect. Thank you, Lynn, our brave first person to answer. Awesome. Excited to have so many educators here with us. I'm a former teacher myself, so I'm excited that you guys are here. I'm going to go ahead and get started, but if at any point you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Don't feel like you need to wait till the end to ask your questions. Love to hear from you. So I want to start out with this quote. This is from Dr. Crabb, who is one of the psychologists on the staff of UNLV Counseling and Psychological Services. And whenever we partner with folks in our campus community, we always like to ask them, why do you think early outreach matters? Why does the university have this office? And so Dr. Crabb shared this quote. I'm not going to read it out loud to you. You can read, but I do want to emphasize that last sentence. Early outreach can change a life, change generational outcomes, and ultimately change a community and our world. So our team, we like to think that we are supporting you in the work that you are doing to change generational outcomes and change our community here in Nevada. And this quote just really spoke to what we are trying to do and what we are hoping to accomplish as a team. So the first thing I'd like to know, if you can just tell us in the chat, since folks are still hopping in, what are you hoping to gain from this session? Is there anything in particular that you're hoping to hear, to share, to think about? And again, we'll just do this in the chat. We'll do some breakout rooms later, but since we still have folks hopping in, we'll stick with the chat for now. You guys are flashing me back to my middle and high school classroom days where no one answers the question. I'm hoping it's because you are all so excited with what you hope to gain that it cannot be put into words. But we'll keep rolling along. If you think of anything that you would like to share that you're hoping to gain or anything in specific you would like to see addressed, please do put that in the chat so that we can be sure that I'm addressing what you're wondering about. So first, just a little bit about who we are. The Early Outreach team is located within the Office of Admissions at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, but we are not recruiters for the university. We are tasked with, over time, increasing the number of students in Nevada who are applying to, matriculating into, and hopefully graduating from college, whatever that might look like. So we provide support starting in kindergarten through 10th grade is technically kind of our wheelhouse. We do talk to juniors and seniors in high school, but excellent, more knowledge on how to get students to attempt at going to college for sure. So our mission, our motto is raising rebels, because our goal is to help the community in raising and supporting students who graduate high school and know accurately what options exist. They know how those options will impact what career choices they have, and they know what they should be doing in order to pursue those post-secondary options. So what that means is that we work with students, parents, school staff, community groups, anybody who asks us to provide a pretty diverse array of programming with the ultimate goal of increasing the likelihood that students will choose to go to college. So our team is tiny. This on your slide, that's the whole team. Devin Harris is our associate director, and as I said, I'm the coordinator. We are the only two professional staff members. So we are hoping to hire a third professional staff member this year, but for now, we're tiny but mighty. And we have two current UNLV students who work with us. Karen is our graduate assistant, and May is an undergraduate student. They're both in the School of Social Work. So if you choose to schedule any of our programming, if you come to any of our events, in that case, you will see likely all four of us, at least three of us. We love having Karen and May as current students do some of the programming to the extent that they can, because we have found a lot of the students here in Clark County, a lot of the students in Nevada as a whole, they don't necessarily recognize that they know people who've gone to college. A lot of them don't make the connection. Your teachers went to college, your counselors went to college. So being able to say this is an actual college student really drives home for some of them. This is a real thing. It's a real option. It's a real path. So I wanted you to see our team so you kind of knew who it is that I work with. And today I'm going to talk about the programming that we already offer, what we have coming, and I also want to hear from you, your thoughts, so that we can continue to support y'all and your goals. And so hopefully you can share some resources going forward. So at the elementary level, our programming focuses on getting kids that foundational awareness of college and college enthusiasm. As we get up into middle school, high school, you'll notice more of the programming is focused on like financial aid, different college majors. But at the elementary level, one of our big goals is that kids think of college as something interesting, something appealing, something that they want to go do one day. So we like to get them thinking about college as an opportunity in the future, but we're not like walking fifth graders through the FAFSA. They don't need that knowledge yet. We do try to make sure everything is developmentally appropriate. So I would love for you guys, and I am going to put you into breakout rooms so you can discuss. But what I'd like you to discuss in your breakout room will take about 2 minutes. What role should colleges play in elementary schools? Why do you think the university has a team that spends all their time working with elementary, middle, and early high? What should that look like ideally? So we are a small group. We're just going to do 3 breakout rooms. And let's see. Excellent. This is going to go ahead and separate you guys. And again, we're going to take 1 to 2 minutes, discuss what role should colleges be playing in elementary schools, if at all. All right, welcome back. Folks are filtering back in. All right. Could I get a volunteer or two to share what you discussed? What do you guys think about the role of colleges in elementary schools? Anyone want to volunteer? You can unmute, you can put it in the chat, whatever you prefer.
Hello, my name is Tommy. I think that colleges, the roles of colleges, if they are going to be involved in elementary schools, is just being some information, but motivators, just motivating them to know that there is, what future can hold of them. So finding people that have majors and careers and stuff like that, and showing them that, hey, if you want to be a doctor, this is where you college is the place to be, to have them set them up for roles. Because I mean, in elementary school, we always play doctor, teacher, lawyer, whatever those when we do our imagination games and stuff like that. So, and then putting it into reality of how do they get to where these roles that they want to be.
Good. Thank you, Tommy. So kind of connecting kids from where they are now, what they're excited about, and thinking about what options exist in the future. I see in the chat, college day, exposure, wonderful. Did anyone else have thoughts they wanted to share? All right, so we agree with you that in elementary school, that's a great time to start that exposure and start getting kids excited. So as we go through this, I'm going to tell you what have our services looked like up until now, what's coming in the future, what options are available for you to take advantage of. So last year, a pretty good chunk of our visits were in person for elementary school, but our programming is also available virtually. So we did have about 1/3 of our schools who wanted to schedule virtually. And what we offer, and I'll share this with you guys at the end of the presentation, I'll give you a PDF of this. We have a menu of services. So at each level, elementary, middle, and high, we have a menu of student presentations and parent presentations. And in the PDF, you'll see descriptions of each session. So if you're here in Clark County, you can schedule us to come in person for these presentations or to come to family nights, college week, things like that. If you're not in Clark County, these presentations are available virtually. So we do split things into K2 and 3-5. Any of y'all who work in elementary school knows the difference between a kindergartner and a fifth grader is pretty broad. So we have different chunks of programming at those ages. Our two most popular presentations at the elementary level actually both relate to careers. So for the littles, those kindergarten to second graders, our most popular presentation asks them to think about what are their hobbies and interests, what are things they like to do and things they like to learn about, and then think about what could I do related to that hobby or interest. So it will not surprise you guys to hear, we hear a lot of kids who are interested in sports. We hear a lot of kids who are interested in video games or social media. But we do pretty often also hear kids who like animals, kids who like space, kids who like math. And so then we think about what could you do related to that hobby or interest to make a difference in your community. And this is one where we love having our student staff come in and do the presentations because they can speak about what their career goals are. They can make that connection between where the students are. 3rd through 5th grade, again, that career exploration, majors and careers is our most popular presentation. But you'll notice on our menu, we also have some more social emotional components, fixed and growth mindset, the impact of stress on your brain. That's because, as y'all know, college readiness, some of it has to do with academic preparedness. Some of it has to do with that really brass tacks college knowledge, but some of it has to do with those habits of mind, those SEL components that set kids up for success at the elementary, middle, and high school level in order to increase their likelihood of continuing in college. So elementary teachers and counselors love to schedule sessions about careers, which is great. We love to come in and talk about them, talk about the options for what you can study in college. But as I said, I'll share this menu at the end so you can see all the programming that we have available. We have served over 9,000 students at the elementary level. So in these pictures, you can see Karen and May out doing some of their school visits, calling on kids, interacting with them. Elementary is by far our biggest group. So if you're with us today from an elementary school, thank you. If you're from a middle or high school, let's get something on the calendar. So next year I can say the middle or high school was our biggest group, but we do talk to a lot of elementary school students each year. We also participate in virtual Nevada Reading Week. So even if you are outside Clark County, if you would like to get involved in virtual Nevada Reading Week, what we do is invite partners from across campus to come in, join a Google Meet with your class or whatever software you use, read a children's book, and then do a little Q&A on what their job is in college, what they liked to do when they were in school, how their time in school prepared them for their job. So it's a really fun event because UNLV, as you all may know, is a really diverse university. And so the students get to hear from people who might look and speak just like they do, people who might look and speak very differently from them, talking about all of the different types of careers that exist within higher education itself. So last year we had about 1,700 students who were read to, and over 40 different campus partners from student affairs, athletics, operations, academic departments. It's a cool opportunity for elementary kids to meet folks from a college. So when we think about elementary outreach, like you guys mentioned, that exposure and that awareness is such a key component of it. Having students know what college is honestly more of a barrier than some folks expect. We talk to a lot of students in Nevada who have heard of college, but they don't confidently know what it is or why you might go there. So in our elementary programming, we try to set that foundation. What is it? What do you do there? Why would you choose to go to college? What kinds of ways can college look? Because it is different for everybody. But we also think that opening lines of communication between young students and a university, between young students and the adults of their lives, between parents and schools, is a really key part of how early outreach can impact elementary students. We also love opportunities to bring students to campus. So you may have noticed on the program, it said that Devin Harris was going to present with me. We actually have 300 elementary school students playing in a basketball tournament with the LVMPD Foundation on campus today. So Devin is wrangling that chaos and I get to hang out with you guys. But I just bring that up because at the elementary level, the opportunity to get on campus is really a game changer for a lot of students. If you don't live in Clark County, okay, can you take your kids to a campus near where you do live? A community college campus is a great place to bring students. If there's a university nearby, awesome. Can you swing 2 field trips? Because it is so transformational for kids to get to be on campus, to think of themselves as someone who could go to college, as someone who would fit in on a college campus. So I'm going to move on to our middle school programming, and I am going to ask you guys to do another breakout room. But in the middle school level, we go a little more in depth with student development in terms of soft skills, in terms of advocating for yourself, in terms of setting goals. But then we also spend a lot of our time on that college and career connection piece. So at the middle school level, we're shifting from just, hey, do you know what college is? College is fun, into a little more, what's the difference between a bachelor's degree and an associate degree or a vocational program? Why would you choose them? What choices can you make now to set yourself up for success in the path that you think you're interested in? So what I'm going to ask you guys to do, I'm going to put you back in breakout rooms, but I believe you'll be with different groups. I think we'll find out if you're with different groups or not. And I would love for you to discuss, how do you think the middle school years play a role in college readiness? How do these factor in to the conversation about college readiness? So again, we'll do about 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Let me know if any issues come up, and I'll see you guys back here in just a minute. All right, so as folks are hopping back in, is anyone willing to share what you discussed with your breakout room, either in the chat or unmute yourself and share out loud? How do you think middle school plays a role in college readiness? All right, well, I'm not going to force anyone to share, but if you would like to share, please let me know in the chat or unmute yourself. I'll talk to you about how we're trying to get middle schools involved in college readiness. I will disclose, oh, awesome. Okay, so I see foundational study skills. Yes, credits and transcripts. So middle school really, let me think of how to say this. Elementary school matters, right? We all know elementary school is foundational. It is so important, especially to have kids with strong reading skills, strong math skills coming out of elementary school. But what a lot of parents and students don't realize is that middle school is when some of those decisions start very immediately impacting college options. So for instance, students who are taking advanced math in middle school, that's going to impact the level of math that you can take throughout high school, which impacts which AP credits you're eligible for. What dual enrollment courses can you take? Students who are learning how to study, how to learn well at the middle school level are more likely to succeed right off the bat in high school versus our kids who are, maybe not taking it as seriously till the second semester of junior year, and all of a sudden they're scrambling. So yes, middle school is a long way from college, and it is still important that they think of college as fun and inspirational and exciting. But this is also where you're going to start noticing our programming gets a little more heavily like the brass tacks of college. So middle school is our smallest population that we serve. We really struggle to get into the middle schools in Clark County and across the state. I used to teach middle school. I was a middle school English teacher, and I was that teacher who was like, we don't need a guest speaker. You need to read. So I understand why this is a tough nut to crack, but middle school is so important for college readiness. Those of you who work at my high schools that I'm seeing in the chat, I'm sure you know if kids come into high school with no concept of college options, that's a lot of scrambling to catch up. So we are hoping to expand our middle school outreach, but we served slightly less than 3,000 students last year at the middle school level. And our most requested presentation was a presentation called Knowing Your Value. This presentation goes over kind of the degree pyramid from high school diploma all the way up to a doctoral or professional degree. But then it also talks about those non-academic skills and experiences that impact your earning potential. The ability to speak more than one language, interpersonal and communication skills, technology literacy, the ability to work with people different from yourself. So we talked to the kids about all of those things and how those things might impact how much you make at your career. Obviously, money is not the only factor in success. It is not the only thing that matters. But gosh, it would be nice if all of our students could graduate to a career that they enjoy that also supports the lifestyle they want. So that's what we talk to the kids about. And then they actually do a hiring activity where they look at candidates, they look at their job posting, the requirements, the budget, and they decide who they would hire and why. It's a really fun presentation. It is by far our most requested. And yes, Tommy, we do talk to the kids about soft skills. One of the things that we tell students a lot at the middle school level is you can think of continuing your education as similar to like leveling up your character in a video game. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. It is possible to win a video game without doing that. It's possible to level up your character and still end up losing the game or your character dies. But it likely makes it a little bit easier if you can level up your character. So what we tell them is, look, getting an education is one thing that's likely going to make it a little bit easier to have success as an adult. It doesn't guarantee it. You still have to have those interpersonal skills, those communication skills. And we'll talk to students about, hey, if you don't continue your education, if you stop after high school, you can still get a job. You can still have a career. I have family who did not go to college who still support themselves. Is it likely a little more difficult? Potentially. Do they have to have a lot more experience to justify things like getting a raise or getting health insurance? Yes. So we try very hard to be honest with the students. And I will definitely tell you how you can get us to come to your school. All of these services are free. So we would love to schedule with some of you guys at your schools. So our middle school programming for the students has 3 goals. The first one is to support and develop those social emotional skills. So I marked which presentations are really focused on that. Social emotional at the middle school age is a wild ride. So that's why we do try to address that. We also want to create and promote that college awareness. So our blue dots are the really college heavy presentations that are talking about degrees, financial aid, college applications. And then we try to connect that to career outcomes. So you can see our most popular presentation, Knowing Your Value, kind of checks all those boxes, but we do try to think about college readiness for middle schoolers across those 3 areas because we know all of that matters. So if you are in a middle school and you're seeing a presentation where you think, wow, I'd love to get my students involved in that, I'll tell you how you can contact us, how you can get us to come to your school. At the high school level, one of the big things that we focus on at the high school level is giving kids an accurate understanding of college options. We pretty often, because we sit in the Office of Admissions, we get to hear about the students who are actively applying to UNLV. And it is not uncommon for us to get a student who applies, they pay the $60 application fee, they get accepted, and then they reveal that they want to be a dental hygienist. Great. That's a great field. You probably could have a more comfortable living than I had in some of my classroom years. But UNLV absolutely cannot prepare you for that career because that's not a bachelor's degree program. We don't have any classes that prepare you to be a dental hygienist. So you just wasted $60 and potentially set yourself behind on applying to a school that can prepare you. So we try to talk to high school students about, hey, what's the reality of what careers require a college degree? what careers require a graduate degree, an associate degree, and what plans should you be making based on your goals for the future and what's important to you. And then this is also where we start getting into that really process based. How should you be talking to admission counselors? What should the timeline be? How should you be thinking about scholarships? Things like that. So we are going to do our final breakout session. And I'm going to ask you guys to spend about 90 seconds discussing what existing programs do we already know of and what are the pros and cons. We are not the only people talking about college readiness in high school. So what do you already know about? What does that look like? And what do you like and think could be improved? So again, about 90 seconds. I'll see you back here. Welcome back. Is anyone willing to unmute and tell us what you discussed in your breakout room?
So I'm a high school teacher, and so we get a lot of colleges that come down to our campus, and they do visits with us because we know a lot of kids can't get up there with their parents and organize and all that kind of stuff. So we get a lot of universities, especially UNLV, CSN, Nevada State College, and all the areas around to come down and just talk to the kids and get them to understand what kind of school they're looking at and programs and things like that. So it really gets them kind of motivated because it's like almost like a very close goal that they can see.
Excellent. Thank you, Tommy. And I think, one thing that I've noticed, I'm not a Nevada native. We have relatively few colleges here compared to a lot of other states. So the more that we can get kids thinking about the options in Nevada and outside of Nevada, the more awareness about what college options exist is so valuable. Anyone else willing to share what you discussed? All right, well, we'll just keep rolling along. So at the high school level, this is larger than middle school, smaller than elementary. But part of that is as the students get up into junior and senior year, if you request us to come in, we're happy to come in if we can help. But typically, like if you have a group of seniors, the recruitment staff is going to want to talk to them, which is why we try to make sure that we're giving our information a little earlier in that high school process, because I'm not going to tell a kid that they should go to UNLV. If a kid tells me they want to go to NYU, great. If a kid tells me they want to go to Reno, great. I just want them to continue their education. So as they get older, we like them to hear more like, for each specific college, what do I need to be doing? And we focus more on that kind of broad college information. Our most requested presentation at the high school level is majors and careers. So this, you'll notice this presentation appears on all three menus, elementary, middle, and high, but it looks different at each level to focus on what options exist for students. One thing that we feel really strongly about is that it is helpful for students to think of their career goal realistically. So what we do is we talk to them about how ideally your career and your college major is going to be something that you enjoy doing, something that you are good at doing, that you can feel successful at, something that you find intellectually engaging or interesting, something that brings you energy and joy, and something that allows you to achieve your goals in terms of lifestyle. In a perfect world, your career does all five of those things. But then we talk to kids about how, hey, most of us kind of pick a few of those things that are more important to us. And then other things go into our hobbies. So maybe we say, hey, it's really important to me that I own my own home. I'm going to make my career decisions based on what's going to let me afford to do that. Wonderful. Then could you volunteer with some of the other things you're interested in? Or maybe what's most important to you is that you're doing work you believe in, or that you are being creative. Great. How is that going to impact the choices you make? We're trying to get away from the way that many of us learned about careers of like, oh, you like logic, you should go into STEM. You like talking to people, you should go into the humanities. The reality is that The humanities needs people who are logical thinkers, and STEM needs people with good communication skills. Every field needs diverse people. So we try to talk to kids about like, hey, considering what you're interested in and what you want your adulthood to look like, what are the options for how you can get to that point? So that's a popular one at high school. This has the most clear-cut connection to college readiness, right? Instead of awareness and readiness leading to access and enthusiasm, it leads directly to matriculation. But this is where we're really trying to talk to students about the reality of college options, about the fact that grades are going to impact your college choices. That doesn't mean you can never go to the college you wanted. If you don't have good grades in high school, great, start out at a community college and transfer over. But it is going to look different than if you're a kid who has pretty strong academics throughout high school. So sometimes we joke that like teachers will joke that we come in and like ruin dreams because kids are always telling us that they're going to get a basketball scholarship, but they don't play on the basketball team. By the time you're in high school, that's where we got to tell you like, look, most people who get athletic scholarships are playing athletics. That's how they got scouted. That's how they got signed. So this is where we have to tell kids like, awesome, if that's the plan at this point, here are the options to get you there. There's usually one way that's the most direct, the most straightforward, but typically other options exist if you're willing to put in the time and or the money. So high school is where we're having those conversations. And then at the parental level, our parent programming starts in elementary school, goes all the way through. We have two goals here, and I'm actually going to flip-flop them. Our first goal is to support parents in thinking of college readiness holistically, in thinking about how your child's mindset, your child's social emotional skills, your child's academic preparedness, all of that is a factor in supporting your child and getting ready for college. But then we also try to focus on, because we do primarily serve a first generation population, we can serve anyone. It just happens here in Clark County, the majority of our students are first generation college students. So we focus on trying to help parents feel more comfortable and confident navigating the college system. Higher education is very intimidating for a lot of people, even those of us who work in education. So we try to make sure that we are helping parents feel equipped to at least think, hey, if I don't know the answer, who should I maybe be talking to find out this answer for my child? So that's what we mean by systemic fluency. How do you navigate the system of higher education in all of its different manifestations? So I'm not going to do breakout rooms just because we don't have too much time, but I would love for you to share in the chat. What do you think parents need when they're thinking about college? What are the areas where you notice parents needing support? Scholarships, yes. Paying for college is the number one thing that we get asked about. Even at the kindergarten level, we get questions about paying for college. So Lynn, you hit the nail on the head. That is one of the really big areas. And that's, again, where we try to talk to parents about the reality. The most common type of scholarship is actually going to be an academic scholarship, not an athletic scholarship. So that's a big topic for parents that we talk to them about. So with our parent outreach, it's tiny, but we are expanding year by year. We just started doing parent presentations during the pandemic. So this is still new for us. But over 90% of the parents that we survey agree that our content feels relevant for them. They are interested in this content, and you can see financial aid and scholarships, big question, college options for non-US citizens in terms of financial aid and admissions is another big question. And then opportunities for kids to come on campus. So I'll touch on how you can get plugged into those. At the elementary and middle school level, our soft skills presentations are far and away the most popular. At the high school level, each presentation was actually scheduled the same number of times. So as most requested, I put the one that I think is really helpful. The inside scoop is just an overview of objective versus holistic admission models, an overview of the timeline your child needs to keep in mind if they're applying for college, an overview of different types of financial aid. So it kind of touches on several of those different areas that can be helpful for parents. We also welcome students to campus for field trips. If you're here in Clark County or you want to take a road trip, you can bring your students to campus, and the early outreach team provides a soft skills focused activity in addition to their highlights tour. Campus visits are free. The only thing you need to pay for is transportation. And if you want to eat in the dining commons, at UNLV, it's $7.75 a student. I don't know at other colleges, but that is an opportunity that you can take advantage of. Then each semester, we have a number of events on campus. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these because I'm going to ask you to join our email list. So I'm going to put some links in the chat. And what we will do, because I do want us to have some time for questions. So here's where you guys were asking, how can we get you at our schools? How can we work with you? So if you work in a school, you can contact us to schedule a presentation from our menu. I'm going to put the menu into the chat so everyone can have it. And then you can also contact us for any other sort of, why am I not able to find this? There we go. Any other sort of events that you have going on at your school, we would love to come out. If you are a parent, please join our email list. I'm going to put those links in the chat as well, so that you can get on our email list, be able to see what events we have going on, how you can get involved. But if you work in a school, we have a separate email list that you can join, so that you can stay in the loop with what we have going on. If you work with a community organization, but you're interested in supporting college readiness, please reach out to us, because we love to partner with community organizations. We've done workshops with the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, Boys and Girls Club, the ACEs, athletics. So we would love to hear from you. So I'm going to put, like I said, those links to sign up for our email list. The parent list, it's all one form, and it will ask you, are you interested in hearing about elementary events, middle school events, or high school events? If you are a member of a school staff, there is a separate form depending on what age range you're at. So if you are an elementary teacher or counselor, you would click on the elementary form, middle, and high. But while folks are signing up for that, are there any questions I can answer? Anything that people are wondering? I know this was very fast to have a lot of information, but while you're thinking, if you're putting things in the chat, I'm going to keep our contact info up there. That is how you will schedule visits. That's how you'll get more information. Sign up for that email list or visit our webpage there. So any questions, any comments, anything I can address for you?
There is a question in the chat from Michelle Day. She's at a charter school and wondering if you do visit charter schools as well.
Yes. So one thing that I love about early outreach, thank you, is that we can visit anybody. We can visit a private school if you wanted us to. I would love to come to like a nice boarding school out of state if someone wants to organize that. But yes, we will talk to anyone. Depending on the population you serve, you know them best. We have some presentations that are marked on our menu that are for specifically high achieving students. So if, for instance, you are at a really academically competitive school where a lot of your students are thinking about very prestigious institutions, that's going to look a different way than if you have a lot of students who need that really foundational, what is a community college, what is a university type information. So when you look at our menu, you'll notice that we try to check both of those boxes because we serve anybody who wants us to come in. We would love to come to a charter school. Let's see, we have some more questions. All right, and Kat shared a link to the presentation. And then, like I said, we are a very tiny team. Oh, I put the menu in the chat, but let me share it again, just in case anyone needs it. we're a very tiny team, but that means we're pretty easy to get in touch with. If you email earlyoutreach@unlv.edu, it's me, Devin, and our 2 students. Those are the 4 people who monitor that inbox. So you can definitely reach out to us with any questions. Did that go through the menu in the chat?
I don't see the second one posted.
Okay, let's see. Maybe it's still uploading. All right, well, if for some reason you can't get the menu out of the chat, please do email us at earlyoutreach@unlv.edu and we will get that over to you. We would love to come to your school. Any of you, please. Thank you. And then please do, if you post anything on social media about today, be sure to hashtag NVFE Summit 2022. The Department of Education would appreciate that. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you. And those of you who are working in the schools every day, most important job in the world, thank you so much for what you're doing.